My husband wants me to link my bank account to him because he is in charge and wants to put a tracker on me while he is working. So I escaped and ruined his life. Final updates. Another update. It's been a month since my previous update, and I wanted to share some of what's been on in the meantime. The divorce is proceeding, but even though I don't need him to agree, and he's not, it means I have to go through the courts to get it approved. As such, it could be upwards of 6 months to push it through even though I'm filing without attempting to claim property, alimony, or compensation. I just want a clean break and separation. Alex has attempted to use our friends to reach out to me as he doesn't want to use my lawyer for communication. He's saying it's disrespectful and cowardly to hide behind my lawyer and not meet him face to face. Alex wrote me a letter that he did pass off to my lawyer, but the contents were him justifying his actions and claiming that in today's time, it is dangerous for women to be their own, which is why he was so intent on trying to keep me safe from harm. He wanted me to understand that he was trying to protect me as best he could and was hurt that I would just lie to him and hide my actions from him related to my dissatisfaction with our marriage and my moving. I didn't reply because at no point did he apologize. All he did was turn everything around on me as I was being overly dramatic, emotional, and cowardly. There was a second letter with Alex's from my sister-in-law. Her letter was honestly disturbing and completely justified my misgivings regarding approaching her in any kind of professional capacity. She spent 5 paragraphs detailing how a real abusive relationship looked like and that Alex was the furthest thing from abusive. The details she included were all related to financial abuse and physical abuse. Nothing like what Alex had been doing. She stated that my attempts to smear her brother's name for attention and clout made me the abuser, not him. I haven't really been able to process that, admittedly. Part of me can't help but wonder if she's right. I mean, I blindsided him by leaving as I did and refused to speak with him. My old boss recommended that I look into getting into therapy after I moved, and I think I need to. I have had a hard time adjusting to being on my own. I keep censoring myself and haven't even gone out to eat yet. I always end up worrying about what if someone sees me. What if I get in trouble for spending my money on something frivolous? My lawyer is continuing to fight for the divorce, and I shouldn't need to be physically present in court. Any meetings needed between me and the judge can be done via Zoom. I'm trying to avoid confrontation with Alex and his family for now as much as I can and passed both letters to my lawyer in case he needs them. Our friends are mostly trying to avoid taking sides still, and I'm honestly approaching the point of just letting them go as well. I'm tired of fighting for them to understand at this point. Work is going well, and it's helpful to have something familiar to anchor my day-to-day life when so much has changed and is changing even now. Divorce proceeding update. It's been a while since I last updated as I needed to let the court step in as Alex was unwilling to grant my request for a divorce. We started with mediated session via Zoom, but after 4 sessions, it was decided that no compromise could be reached between us. The things Alex was pushing for were ones I'm not even willing to humor, let alone agree to. He wanted me to tell our friends and those I'd sent the information to about his actions that I'd made it up in order to gain sympathy. He also wanted me to pay him for defamation and suffering, especially the wages he lost because of sitting in jail for 2 days and missing work before getting bailed out. Lastly, he also wanted me to return and, to quote him, stop my foolish behavior and act like a proper wife and partner. Yeah, no. So needless to say, our mediated sessions went nowhere. The judge isn't seeming to buy into Alex's act, thankfully, because he certainly tried. It took me far too long to see Alex for who he was, and part of me feels like an idiot because I didn't see it at all. Yet, the judge seemed to clock him for exactly what he is within the first meeting. Maybe I just didn't want to see it. I don't know. Alex argued with the judge a lot, even being held in contempt 4 different times. I think it's honestly why this moved as quick as it did. It didn't help that Alex tried to pull in his family as character witnesses, but they were dismissed by the judge as the abuse wasn't seen or heard by them. And as such, they only knew part of Alex's character. In his closing statement after he approved the divorce, he went on to call Alex a narcissist and that if Alex loved himself so much to abuse the one he'd married, to let the divorce happen and marry a mirror next. I didn't think a judge was allowed to say that at all, but my lawyer just shook his head and told me not to say anything, so we left. So here's the update I'm sure everyone's been hoping for and guessed. I'm officially divorced. The documents were processed 3 days ago, and I'm still in disbelief. I have no longer contact with Alex, nor do I want any. I'm not going to give our friends my new contact information. So I decided that I needed to start over since I moved far from that place. New home, new place, new friends. It's slow. And I've started therapy though. It took almost 3 months to get it due to the usual wait times, but I've been going 3 times a week ever since. It's helping even with things I thought were done and dusted. Alex didn't take the divorce well to my lawyer, who's been keeping up with him to make sure he stays away from me. He did something at work. I don't know what is, obviously, I have no way to gain that information, but whatever it was cost him his job. My lawyer also did something I didn't expect him to, but something I think everyone will like. He took the letter my ex-sister-in-law sent me and forwarded it to the domestic violence organization she works for, along with informal statement regarding Alex, his actions, and the decision of the judge. She's been let go as well. And given how tight those organizations are with one another, my lawyer said that the likelihood of her getting a position at another is slim to none. I actually laughed, though I was a bit teary when he said, "Slim is on a leaky rowboat to China." I've been crying a lot lately, but my therapist says it's normal and shows I'm actually processing things instead of bottling them up and pushing them down. Work is going well, and the sense of normality and routine is helping me avoid feeling like everything has been spiraling out of control. New update. It's been a month since I finally shared the success of my divorce from Alex. My mood swings are still happening, but they don't last quite as long anymore, so I'm taking that as a good sign. My therapist recommended that I sign up for some kind of physical activity just to help work out and channel what she called the fight/flight instincts more. So I've joined a local self-defense club, and I'm going twice weekly. I felt really awkward in the beginning, but they've all been super nice and welcoming, so it's been easier. It has helped, I think. A lot of my jitteriness and anxiety has calmed, and I'm sleeping better as well. I've also joined a book club, though it's all online at the moment. They're discussing the possibility of meeting in person rather than over Skype at a local park. It's hard, honestly. I feel like a kid that just changed schools and sometimes feel like it's either sink or swim. My therapist pointed out that if I feel like I'm sinking, to stop, take a step back and remind myself that I have all the control over my actions. If I don't like something, I don't have to do it. I can feel my emotions, but I also need to not let them control and dictate my actions. She also pointed out how I've developed a tendency to try and fix other people's bad moods. She told me that they're adults, and it's not my responsibility to manage anyone else's emotions other than my own. It's been hard, but I'm getting there. I think in a year, as a celebration for my divorce, I may go visit my grandmother's grave. Just to talk, if nothing else, as silly as that may sound. I passed on your thanks to my lawyer, who smiled and said, a bit smugly, I might add, that he loves giving people who thought they were untouchable the karma they deserved. He went on to add that he enjoyed being karma's helping hand. My lawyer has kept abreast of what's been happening with Alex and his sister, both, just to make sure they don't try anything. According to him, my ex-sister-in-law threw a fit when she was let go from the DV center, enough that she was barred from the premises. It seems that she shares some traits with her brother in regards to temper. She's now working at Lowe's, apparently. As while she was a volunteer at the DV center, she has to pay some fines for damages she caused during the incident that got her banned. As for Alex, he's been quiet, which worried me at first, but my lawyer told me he's keeping his head down. He's gotten another job with a construction crew, but with everything he has to pay, he cannot afford to lose his job. I was awarded damages for emotional distress and harm, as he never touched me physically. I was able to prove my statements thanks to records of the text conversations between Alex and I regarding the tracker and not leaving the house without permission. As my financial situation is stable, I don't need alimony, so my lawyer advised not to try for it and focus on compensation for damages instead. Alex's family apparently hates me now, as they've reached out to my lawyer, telling him to pass on the message that I've successfully ruined both Alex and his sister's lives over my lies. Honestly, at this point, I'm getting to the point of not caring anymore. I only have so much to give right now for emotional needs, and I want it for my own, not to expend on someone else, if that makes any kind of sense. So that's where I'm at right now. It's hard coming up to the holidays and being alone. But a few weeks ago, I found a kitten in the alley next to my work. He's a tiny, raggedy little thing. He's black, long hair with 3 white paws, and he's also missing his tail. He's got the first vertebrae, but nothing else. According to the vet, Mom may have accidentally bitten it off at birth, which I didn't even know happened, but apparently it does. I'm calling him Bandit. So I'm not alone anymore. But now I have a kitten that thinks everything needs to be hunted, including my toes to eye where Slippers constantly cause those little claws of his are like freaking daggers, I swear.